within the country. I am obviously joined with my colleague Bulelani Phillips. We are seeing a number of other leaders. I'm just seeing one of the members of parliament there that I'm going to go and grab for my colleague Bulelani to just get an essence of what other opposition parties are anticipating from the president. Bulelani, as we just move forward to this leader and member of parliament so that Bulelani can just get a perspective from them as well. Bulelani, over to you.
All right, sorry to jump you like this, Steve, but of course it's quite busy here. And I mean, we're taking the views of the political parties and the threats of disruptions this afternoon or evening. What is the view of the ACDP with regards to that?
No, well, we're totally opposed to any form of disruptions. We believe the nation, South Africans, want to see their public representatives, want to see the state president respond to questions such as load shedding, such as what are we doing to the economy, what are we doing for job creation, what are we doing to deal with unemployment. And I think that is the key issue, and that is what I've said before when we've had disruptions. We cannot permit it, and I really trust that the presiding officers will be very firm and not allow any disruptions to take place, given the fact that the nation wants to hear the state president and wants to hear what he has to say.
And now there's these threats of South Africa being grey-listed potentially later this month. What would you expect the president to say with regards to that?
Well, I really hope that he will send a message to the international task force that is dealing with us, that South Africa is doing everything in its power to avoid that grey listing. And I raised it yesterday in the Justice Portfolio Committee with the NDPP. Prosecutions of money laundering cases, of terrorism finance cases. And yes, we are doing it, but maybe we're not doing enough. We've passed a number of pieces of legislation to address the concerns that have been met, and I really trust that South Africa as a country has done enough to avoid grey listing, because that will have a severe impact on our financial services, and of course we can't afford that given the fact of our economy and given how we're struggling with economic growth, with job creation, and of course with load shedding.
All right, Steve Swart, ACDP Member of Parliament, thank you so much for your time. And now I think I'm going to bring into this conversation Samgelo, who's going to be speaking to Dear the Delicious.
Well, before we go to the Dear the Delicious, just look at the heavy security there, Bulelani, from SAPS, as we show those visuals of SAPS ready to deal with any protests that may ensue here at the city of Cape Town City Hall, where the State of the Nation address will be taking place. I'm now going to bring in the man they call Dear the Delicious, Dear the Darling, the Premier of the Eastern Cape, who's been running away from Enoch Mkhichima. I've not seen you in Enoch Mkhichima where there are protests, dear. Have you addressed the residents there?
No, I've been there. I'm residing in that space. That's my home, that's my region. MEC has been on the ground. When the Premier is required, Premier will be available. I'm a Premier who has never run away from any crisis. I confront the crisis.
What is the main issue of Enoch Mkhichima, particularly those residents? They are saying that infrastructure has not been refurbished since the ANC took power within that particular district. Why have you not been servicing the people in that specific area? You've been the provincial secretary, you are now the Premier of the province. Why is there no service delivery? Where you come from?
That's a lie. If you go to Queenstown, you will see a town with an infrastructure that is there. Yes, the infrastructure has got its own challenges. The municipality collapsed when we amalgamated 3 municipalities, small municipalities that had huge debts from Eskom into one with actually former Lukanji. From there, that municipality has never taken off the ground. It has been a challenge after challenge. We've been there, we've been intervening, we've been there with National working together. But the town is there. The town infrastructure remains there. Yes, there are challenges in terms of that maintenance, etc. The municipality has been deep in debts, but we are trying to solve the problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oscar Mabuyane. They call him Dear the Delicious. But here's another interesting Deputy Minister, David Mahlobo, Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation, and also an engineer by profession. Deputy Minister Mahlobo, the issue of infrastructure in the country, how do you deal with that issue? You were sent to Mfuleni to deal with the sanitation issues within that specific municipality. Not yet fully resolved, sewage still running through Sebokeng. There's an issue now of refuse not collected in that municipality. How do you sort out these infrastructural defects in municipalities?
Well, His Excellency the President will spend more time, because as part of reigniting our economy, infrastructure will remain the bedrock. and in the economic reconstruction recovery plan, those matters are going to feature very highly. And you know that Mfuleni, we've intervened. There is progress that is being made, but we are far from complete because that intervention will take us about 3 to 5 years because infrastructure was allowed to degenerate and the population grew, and we'll need about 8 billion to do that. But we know that His Excellency the President and the Minister of Finance will put more emphasis around issues of water and sanitation. There are many communities that doesn't even have access to water today, and in other areas we know that we have done a lot in dealing with those particular issues.
Minister Mahlobo, on the issue of particularly on local government, you were sent to deal with an issue of demarcation and municipalities being dysfunctional within the Free State province when you were there for your political party festivities in January. When you look at the nub of the issue of local government, where it's the basic necessities, the basic services are meant to be given to the people, but they are not happening, how do you ensure that you provide those services when you have, in the words of your Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, Gwede Mantashe, failed to demarcate a province like the Free State properly?
These matters is not only the function of demarcation. When it comes to local government, there are a number of issues that we have not gotten right as the ANC. Our funding formula is incorrect. It assumes that all citizens will be able to pay for services. But the reality in the undercurrent economic climate, they are not going to be able to pay. One of the most important aspects is that in each and every community, we must be able to say, what are these endowments? They have the land, they have the people that are there. If you invest in skills development, you can be able to generate local economies. They will start to pay for services. But at the very same time, national government for those struggling areas, we must be able to intervene and be able to give them the resources they need. Lastly, it's a function of leadership. Some of the people that we have deployed there, they are not up to scratch, including those that are deployed in administration, that they are not being in a position that they are delivering to the best of their abilities. Therefore, issues of meritocracy in the building of a developmental state and issues of accountability in terms of performance, including giving incentives, but consequences for those who are not going to be able to perform. The time has arrived that they should step aside.
Deputy Minister Mahlobo, Buchabel, bucket system. Your party was formed in Mangaung in 1912. You were there in 2012 for your own conference. Till today, they still use the bucket system. Your SG is from that specific area, born and bred, grew up in Buchabel. They still use the bucket system. Why should those people, honestly, still vote for your party?
Those are historical problems. Remember, if you are going to remove the bucket system and you go to a SWAT system, you need to have a bulk infrastructure. Fortunately, the areas we are speaking about, the Department of Water and Sanitation under Comrade Senzo Mtunu, we are intervening, including in the Northern Cape. Currently, our teams, they are on the ground. They are working very hard that during this financial year, we must be able to put a dent on those particular conditions. But in South Africa, when it comes to sanitation, where there is no water, you will not be able to provide a SWAT system. But where if there is other alternative of a sanitation system, it must be able to operate it, maintain, so it does not cause some nuisance in terms of the flies, but at the very same time become an environmental hazard. But the more you roll out water, the more you'll graduate into a SWAT system, and that SWAT system must actually be managed properly, so that you don't have these spillages that you find in some of our townships.
Why must the people of Botshabelo listen to the president here today, who will not be giving them a time frame of when the bucket system will be eradicated in Botshabelo? Why should they listen to him?
Remember, the president, it gives a clear call. It gives us the marching lines. There's going to be a time when the Department of Water and Sanitation is going to be there. Ourselves, led by Minister Mkunu, will give the timelines. What are we going to do in this particular area supporting local government? There is no ambiguity. And after the president has given us the overcoming marching orders, the Minister of Finance will say where the resources are going to, and each department will say these are the decisive action we're doing in 2023.
Deputy Minister, give me a time frame. When are you eradicating the bucket system in Botshabelo? That is your area of expertise. That is the area where you are deployed current in government. When is the people of Botshabelo finally receiving flushing toilets and running water?
I will not speak about this Botshabelo. What I know, our teams, when they gave us the information, they said by the end of the financial year, which was the year that they've given us now, because remember the other time there was a date that was given, we couldn't meet that particular date. We don't want to be lying to our people. We'll go and do an assessment when we're on the ground. I'll invite you to join me in Free State.
Let me put it to you so I can have a commitment from you. In 2 weeks' time, let's go to Botshabelo to see and to kickstart the process of service delivery in Botshabelo.
We have a deal.
A deal.
Yeah, thanks, Kubo.
This is like,
That's
it's a deal.
It's a deal. I'm going with you. That's my space.
That is the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation. Bulelani, I see you've got the Deputy Minister of Communication.